your pitch here.
All right, wonderful. Well, hello everyone who is watching and participating in this webinar. My name is Anthony White, and I am the Work-Based Learning Coordinator for the Kodiak Island Borough School District. That is one of many hats that I wear in the district. But this one I'm really excited about because it's a brand new program for Kodiak High School and the rural schools, as well as elementary and middle. We really want to look to build this program throughout all the school systems and make it powerful. And just to give you kind of a rundown of what the work-based learning program is, it is designed primarily for high school students that want to gain an experience working in a job that is either directly tied to a class that the student is enrolled in, or the student wishes to gain experience in a specific career. And we've developed 4 types of learning experiences available to students. One is classroom visits and guest speakers. So we would invite local businesses, companies, and organizations to talk with students about what kind of careers are available. We have a job shadow experience where students would just kind of dip their feet into potential career interest where they're only spending a couple hours getting to know the business and getting to know what kind of opportunities are available. And then we move on into more hands-on experiences, which are externships and internships. Both are pretty kind of similar. The externship is shorter in duration and does not necessarily have as much of job responsibilities that an internship would. And an internship would total, we were looking at about 120 hours for an internship. And with the internship, there would be hands-on projects that the student would be engaged in. And we would offer the classroom visits and guest speakers to all students, grades K through 12. And then the job shadow, externship, and internship experiences are limited only to high school students. So the primary purpose of the work-based learning program really is to provide students with practical and relevant career-related learning experiences. It allows the students to acquire improved understanding of their abilities, their interests, and their educational or career aspirations. What do you want to do after you graduate from high school? If you were to ask many students that, some may already have a game plan set and some are not sure. So this work-based learning program offers educational opportunities that are not available within the present high school structure. And it provides a means of applying and measuring academic skills learned throughout the student's formal education. So they're applying these skills that they learn throughout their educational career directly in a workplace situation. It provides an avenue for students to develop the confidence, responsibility, and maturity necessary for success on the job. And I think what is very important, perhaps most important, is it really enhances the partnership between the school and the community by serving the needs of local business and industry. And uh, it serves as a really powerful program for students in that if they have an interest in a particular career, and that career or business exists within the community, we could connect the two and really help that student explore that avenue. Is it something that they truly want to do? If yes, instead of me being the gatekeeper or the person in between, the student can connect and communicate directly with the business and organization to see what do you need to get a full-time job in this? What kind of certifications do you need? What are the policies and procedures? What is the organizational development of this business? And I feel like it's probably one of the most it's one of the most applicable learning experiences that students could have in their high school career. Um, uh, something like this did exist back, I believe, in the late 90s and early 2000s, where they were connecting students with businesses and organizations, and um, and it was a very successful program. But like a lot of programs in the district, it starts off really strong. It has certain people who are developing the program, but then those people move on to other positions or other jobs, and then the program just kind of dissipates. It is my goal to make this program not about me coordinating it, but really have it be a core essential element of a student's learning progress, specifically in high school. So as I mentioned, the different various opportunities, as this is a very new program, we do have a handbook that has been developed in conjunction with this program. And the handbook kind of outlines the roles and responsibilities, the timelines for implementation of it, really gives a coordinator an idea of how to coordinate the program, gives the business an idea of what their roles and responsibilities are, and the student and parent, their roles and responsibilities in this program. Um, as this is new, this is morphing and changing over time. We are currently engaged with a few local businesses and students enrolled in the program who are looking to do an internship experience. One is in the cosmetology field and one is in the photography field. And I'm very excited to have these students participate in these opportunities because they're really testing the system, and the business is testing the system and seeing what is really working with this, what needs to be further refined, and what can we kind of put to the side or we don't really need to focus on. And in both of these instances, what we're finding is that um, I first asked the student, what are you interested in? Student says, I'm interested in photography, career in photography. I reach out to the business and organization and I say, would you be interested in having a student participate and kind of shadow you and support you in your business? And the business says, yes, let's put them straight to work. I could already think of projects that the student can engage in. So what that's telling me is we don't necessarily need to start with a job shadow or an externship. We could just jump right into an internship opportunity. So as part of the program, students are required to take a course in conjunction with the internship experience. And the course is called Workplace and Internship Readiness. And it helps the students learn about themselves and help prepare them for the future. It includes topics of goal setting, decision making, surviving college and career after high school, and it helps students develop a well-rounded set of employability and personal leadership skills that will really help them guide their own career. They learn to communicate with others, take initiatives, set goals, solve problems, and research different career options, and ultimately envision their own personal career path. So this course, upon completion, students would be awarded one elective credit. If they complete an internship in combination with this course, they could earn an additional 0.5 credit. The students who are really gung-ho and interested in internships could complete a second internship and earn an additional 0.5 credit. This could potentially be completed within one school year, thus awarding the student 2 elective credits in one school year, which is pretty exciting. So let me talk a bit about the processes and procedures for businesses who may be interested in having interns in their business. So we first start off with kind of a meeting between the business and the student. And I have the student introduce themselves. What are your interests and passions? What are you interested in doing in this business? They talk a bit about themselves, and then the business will talk a bit about kind of the general organizational structure and what they would envision the student doing in the internship. If after that discussion, the student wants to move forward and the business wants to move forward, we continue with a volunteer application form. And this volunteer application form is part of the school district requirements. Anyone who would have direct contact with the student would be asked to complete the volunteer application form. That includes a background check for those people, and they're put into the volunteer database for the district. And once the volunteer application forms are submitted and completed, then we move on to a memorandum of understanding. And the memorandum of understanding simply lists what the business's roles and responsibilities are, what the students' roles and responsibilities are, and what the parents' responsibilities. It also outlines liability. So should a student be injured in the workplace setting, it would be understood that the district would be responsible for liability and insurance. So the business does not need to assume that. After it is signed by all parties and the administration here at the high school, we could then talk about what is the schedule going to look like? How many hours are you going to be spending at that business organization? We include a training agreement in there, so that just outlines what the student will be trained on to be successful in that business. And then we have an orientation checklist where on the student's first day, they would work with the business, and they would check off, you know, what do you need to wear, where are the bathrooms, kind of the basic information. The student maintains a time log for the duration of the internship, and they submit it to me to be signed off. And this is submitted every 2 weeks. And then there is a learning plan that is involved with the internship experience. The learning plan outlines the employer and the student go through these reviews twice during the internship, one in the beginning, towards the beginning of the internship, and then one at the end. It includes comments, what kind of notes do they have, goals and reflections. And then the second part are what kind of specific, career-specific skills does the student need to develop? And so, for example, if the student were working for the Chamber of Commerce and Sarah were to ask the student to work on developing some social media assets, the student has no experience with digital media and design, those would be one of the skills that we would list on there. What's the student need to do in order to be able to develop those social media assets? And then my role is to help provide support, educational support for the student to be able to develop those skills. So if it is social media, then I could work with the student on understanding the purpose of social media, what platforms are available for student to develop those digital media assets, and really working in tandem with the student and the business to develop those skills. And then ultimately, at the end, the student has a reflection form that they fill out. What was their experience like? How would they rate it? And they would also create a short presentation that outlines their experience. And we would save all of this in their student file, send that off to the counseling office, and they would then award the student that 0.5 credit. So that in a nutshell is the program as it's developed right now. I will stop at this point and see if there are any questions out there about this work-based learning program.
So if you could speak a little bit to exactly how the process would work for our businesses, I'm actually working on it a little bit right now because I wanted to understand the process. You provided us with a nice link that we can sign up and express our interest in the work-based learning program. So I'm kind of filling out that survey now. But once that survey is completed, what should our businesses expect? I've had a lot of businesses also asking, is there a student interested right now? How early do I need to sign up? What are the expectations in that regard?
Good question. So I am seeing this database as a collection of businesses that are willing to take on an intern. And then when I have a student who has expressed interest in that particular career, I could refer to that database and reach out to the coordinator, business owner, manager, and I could say, hey, we have a student who is interested. Can we set up a time to meet and kind of introduce each other and talk about what options are available? Currently, our enrollment is pretty low, but I imagine this program to grow exponentially and develop, um, most likely grow further next year when I hope this pandemic is over. I really, really hope. And we could resume back to some sense of normalcy. And by next year, really be able to reach out to these businesses and organizations. It also, the database also allows us to reach out to businesses to hopefully create an advisory council, and have those businesses give direct input into what kind of opportunities are available. With that advisory council, we could take that information and really help develop and build both this program and the career and technical education program at the school, thus allowing us to build educational opportunities for students that are directly aligned to local business needs. So if there are a lot of business needs in, say, database management, then we can start creating courses and opportunities for students to learn how to manage databases. So that way, when they go into this internship experience, they already have the knowledge necessary to be successful. And the business doesn't have to hold their hands necessarily in developing those skills.
That's fantastic. And can you clarify too? There's no business that's too small or too large. Really, it's all about the student's interest and opportunities, right?
Yeah, exactly. There are some limitations with what types of businesses, and some hazardous occupation limitations. But overall, the sky's really the limit here. Whatever business is interested in taking on a student, we could connect the two. Um, in terms of hazardous occupations, things like motor vehicle driving and outside helper, like we couldn't have a student working for a cab company necessarily driving people around, but they could potentially be working in the back office and helping coordinate those things. Um, let's say roofing operations in construction. We couldn't have a student working on a roof, but there may potentially be some opportunities for students to work in a construction company. We have actually a good example. I got a phone call a couple of days ago from a parent and a student her student who is very interested in the wireman um, job field at KEA. He's interested in learning more about that job. But I can't imagine a student could be climbing up a pole and fixing wires, but we can get creative and say what kind of opportunities are available at KEA where the student could at least be in contact with uh, people working in that position and be able to get an idea of what kind of skills are necessary, or the student is working in the back office in some capacity and becomes integrated with the organization. So that way, when they graduate, they kind of already have a foot in the door and they can be hired and work their way up to that position.
I got a quick question for you. Okay, thanks. And forgive me, I had a little bit of an emergency during a part of your talk, so forgive me if you've covered this. But are the opportunities that you're talking about, are they only open to, say, a for-profit business entity, or could it be a municipality or a nonprofit or something like that? Because I think the city or the borough, for example, or some other entity might have more resources to kind of shape a framework for this kind of a thing. So I'm wondering about that.
Yeah, it would not be limited to for-profit. We would include nonprofit organizations, municipalities, government organizations. I mean, I'm in communication with the harbor master, and we were talking about a potential for a student to work down in the docks and kind of shadow him and support him and his crew and what they do. He was very interested in that and having a student, but then after talking with the city and all the things going on right now, he said, can't really do it right now, but know that I am very interested once all the stuff passes on. So yeah, I would highly encourage government organizations and nonprofits to sign up. I reached out to KMXT and they are absolutely 100% behind this. But again, said due to current situations, we can't really have a student in the office. But once this passes over, that we can make that happen.
Yeah, that brings up a really good point. My hat's off to you for not only this endeavor, but for going through it during this particular time.
Yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of my bicycle ride down to California. It happens to be on fire and full of COVID, so the timing wasn't good, but you still got to go through and do it. So I hope you're not discouraged at all by any potential lack of response that you're seeing, or interpret it as anything except all these external factors going on. It's going to put you in a really good position, I think, to move forward when traction is able to be had.
Mm-hmm. And that's why it's so important that we get this link out there for businesses to sign up and not, you're not bound to an internship. You're not saying you're doing something right now. You're just saying, I am willing to do something, and we can call on you when the time is needed to connect you with students.
And can you share with us at this point in time, how many businesses do you have that have signed up?
Two.
Okay.
Yeah, which is fine. I get it. This is a program that is, it's in development and it's not gonna go full speed ahead to start. We need to work on it and we need to chip away at it. And oh no, I take that back. There are 3 responses now. Some companies that have already filled it out include the Kodiak Daily Mirror, and they are really interested in supporting this program, which is really great because that helps us with advertising, and it helps us connect students with opportunities in a whole slew of fields, whether it's website management, graphic design, journalism, really lots of opportunities. The Kodiak Canvas Company and NWFF Environmental have all signed up for it. So I tip my hat and thank you for those companies for signing up for that.
How recent was NWFF? Was that your latest one?
Pardon?
How recent was the NWFF environmental input or interest?
You're cutting out in the beginning. What was the question again?
Oh, I'm just saying, was NWFF environmental your latest communication?
Yes.
Good. Yeah, that's my company, the one I work for.
Well, there we go. Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah, you bet.
I appreciate that. And yeah, the more we can get signed up for that, I think the better. So I would encourage you to share out that form as soon as you can, or encourage others to fill out the form. I am working on developing a website, wbl.kibsd.org, which is going to be a lot easier to access than that URL. And once that website is live, this form will exist on there. So it'll be easier for businesses to sign up. But yeah, if you could just share it out with as many people as possible. And I plan on canvassing, just kind of going around the community with a pamphlet or something, and handing it over to the business manager or owner and saying, please take a few moments to fill this out, and really getting this going. And then connecting with the Kodiak Daily Mirror as well will help in getting the word out, and KMXT as well will certainly help.
Well, I know that you have a lot of things in the pipeline too that I'm not sure if you're interested in discussing, but as far as outreach, and I know that we put a career fair on the table. We have some website opportunity building for some businesses maybe on the table. So a lot of things in the works, but really a great way to partnership our businesses with our schools and really get that buy-in from a young age. Naturally, the Chamber is really thrilled to be working with you on this. We understand that it's important to retain our students here. We don't want them to all go off island. And when we have this opportunity to train them and give them that vested interest in our community, get them to stick around, have that trained workforce, that's good for the students, that's good for our community. So I really thank you for taking the time to put this program together and working with us.
Yes, absolutely. And just please know for everyone, I am very wide open to any suggestions you might have to make this a stronger program. It is not my program. It is the students' program and our community's program, and I want it to work in the best interest of all parties involved. So if you foresee something that needs to be added, removed, adjusted, the processes and procedures, different types of programs, please know I'm wide open, and you could contact me at any time. I'll put my email in the chat here, and feel free to share that out. And I really appreciate the time that you scheduled and your support in making this a really wonderful program for Kodiak.
You're so welcome. Thanks again for joining us today. Is there anything else before we sign off here?
Nope, just a thanks for all you're doing.
Awesome. Thank you, Patrick. Wonderful. I hope everyone has a wonderful day and a wonderful Thanksgiving.
You too.